185 Miles South, a hardcore punk rock podcast.
All right, we are here with Burt to Last and Aaron, also of Built to Last and Over My Dead Body fame. Let's start it off. What year did Built to Last start?
I think it was 95 where we originally formed with like the original members. Aaron wasn't in the band at that time. It was me, Dave Kennedy, another kid who played in NIV, Jason, and a friend of mine named Damien, and that's when we put out the San Diego's Hardest demo. If you guys ever saw that, it's got a picture of like a brick wall and like fake spray paint that says San Diego's Hardest. But I think at that time we were heavily, and still are, into like New York hardcore bands, Biohazard, Sick of It All. So we were trying to be that type of hardcore at that time. But yeah, that was the demo that started it. That lineup didn't last, I don't know, too long. I think we got you in right after the first...
I think it was 96.
Yeah, it was after we released Loyalty and Betrayal.
Yeah, because you guys were just getting ready to record, what was that, 6-song EP?
Self-titled.
Yeah, so you guys were getting ready, so I ended up being on that recording. So it was just before that.
Right. I remember we had to have a tryout for him when he joined the band, and he missed a couple cymbals, so I wasn't sure he was going to work.
This is the best story. First of all, you got to throw it out to Razor Don Cajon for introducing me to the guys to be able to play. I remember I was playing for like Scheller at the time, and so that was more just hit the cymbals. I had baseball bats for drumsticks, and so I was like, I got their first CD, and I'm sitting there like trying to learn. I think I learned like 4 songs. So I went and the first time I met them was just showing up to where they practice. So I get set up and we go through it, and I freaking nailed it. I nailed it. So we get out there, and Bert's like, "Yeah, sounded pretty good, man. You missed like 4 cymbals, though." And I'm just like looking at him, like, "Wait, huh?"
Yeah. Well, it ended up working out okay.
Yeah.
I let him be in the band. So.
Well, you know what? It was funny because they were super pumped because like I pulled up in my truck and I had this like super big drum box that held all my drums, so I looked all professional.
Yeah. Yeah. Having cases for the drums does make you look very professional.
Yeah,
it wasn't even cases, it was a box, and the whole thing rolled.
Oh, shit.
I think everybody was already sold when you just drove up. They were like, oh, God, look at this guy.
He's good looking.
Me, I was like, nope, got to pass the drum test. So... But yeah, so that's when the demo first came out, and
yeah. So let's go back and talk about the intent behind it. What was the intent of starting Built to Last? You just wanted to do a
hardcore band,
New York hardcore-ish type band in San Diego.
Yeah, me and my friend Donnie. Like I said, we grew up. That's all we listened to: Gorilla Biscuits. Jock and Biohazard, like big time. You if you heard the demo, you would be like, oh my God, that's like a Biohazard song type stuff. But yeah, we were into New York hardcore, and we wanted to play that type of hardcore because there was nobody in San Diego doing that for sure. I mean, it was, I can't recall any hardcore bands like that, or like us for the matter. But that was the intent. We're just like, hey, we want to start a band, so we did. We got our friends together, and I met Dave Kennedy through some people, and that's where it just kind of went off from there.
And that was your first band?
I was in a few other bands.
Like, just briefly before?
Just briefly, but not anything. When I was younger, like 14, 15, they were like punk bands. But
because by the time you did Built to Last, you've been going to shows for a long time, right?
Yeah.
When did you start going to shows?
In San Diego, I think my first show in San Diego was at the Shea Cafe. Man, I had to have been 13, and I saw the Descendants. At the Shea Cafe. I think it was like maybe 84, 83.
Yeah.
So, but, from there on, I kind of just started going to a lot of shows in San Diego, to a lot of the older clubs and stuff like that are no longer around, Palisades, stuff like that. So watching a mixture of punk and hardcore bands. So
did you get to go to any of the shows in that Chula Vista garage?
Yes.
Where they said like Judge played and
yes, I was at that. Yeah, I was at the Judge show and the Verbal Assault show. So
tell me about a little bit.
That's when
people love hearing that stuff. So,
but that's back when I was still a skinhead, and
well,
we were me, Donnie. We had friends. We were skinheads, but we didn't listen to Oi. Right? We were boots and braces with agnostic front shirts, Warzone. We were into hardcore, but we were skinheads. So
let's talk about the start of that. Let's
yeah.
go back to that. What made you decide to want to be a skinhead? And what was
ran into a crowd of sharp skinheads, older guys, and just kind of started hanging out with them. And,
you're what age and they're what age?
God, at the time I was maybe 16 and they were like in their early to mid 20s.
Cool.
And they were just like super cool guys, and I just started hanging out with them. And then from there, it's like, hey, why don't you shave your head? All right, here's some boots. So you kind of get into it that way, and you just kind of, I wouldn't say I idolized these guys, but they treated me good at a time where my home life wasn't super awesome. So I felt like it was a group of guys that I could depend on and hang with, and got into the skinhead scene. So
and that's 87-ish.
Yeah, I would say so. I'm 48, so yeah.
Well, you're saying you're around 13, 84.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys go to shows together? It's like a big crew?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'd go to a lot of shows. We went to a lot of shows in San Diego, and then we'd go up to like San Francisco and Oakland and hang out with those guys and go to shows. But getting back to the Judge show, whenever we would show up to shows, it was always kind of like tense, like, oh, skinheads are here or whatever and stuff. But I met Rob and all the Amenity guys at those garage shows, and those are the guys that kind of changed me. Because even though, let's be honest, when you're a skinhead, just because you're not racist doesn't mean you're like the nicest guy in the world, right? I kind of wasn't a nice kid back then. But
I have never heard that.
Yeah. Rob was just telling me about it. But I met Rob Moran and stuff like that and became really good friends with them. Mm-hmm. And that kind of, they changed me as a person. I mean, I could talk all night about that transformation from being a skinhead to meeting all those hardcore kids and straight edge kids and stuff, and then finally fitting in where I felt like, man, this is where I want to be. Well, over here was cool, but
I think that's a good story to tell because it's something that hasn't been on here yet. Right. So let's talk about the height of knuckleheadism.
Yeah, I mean,
tell me a story.
We would go to shows at the Shea Cafe and we weren't liked. You know what I mean? And honestly, I was joking with Rob. Told everybody a story about there was going to be a big fight with a lot of skinheads and a lot of punk and hardcore kids, and in the middle of it was me. Mm-hmm. And Rob was like, I know that guy, and it's fine, nothing's going to happen. We never really went to shows with the intent to fight people. Like, that wasn't my intent. I wanted to go to shows. Did I hang out with some knuckleheads? Of course.
Sure.
But we didn't, before the show, go like, hey, let's go and fight. But the minute we showed up there, everything got tense. And then it made us tense. Right. You know what I mean? And then just kind of everybody's building off of each other, and then, stuff happens. So I didn't have a good reputation at the Shea Cafe for a while, back when I was, we're talking 16, 17. And, I regret those days. I think that's why over the years, the hardcore scene, I've went out of my way to do what I can to make up for those days.
Well, yeah. I mean, if anything, I would say that Built to Last is a very big unity band, right?
Oh,
very
totally.
Accepting to everyone.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I mean, our goal wasn't just, we're only playing with hardcore bands, or I don't want to play with this band. In Control, you guys were younger kids. You guys used to support us. I would always try to get you guys on pretty much any show. We got you on a lot of shows in San Diego. I got a lot of punk bands, younger kids, you know what I mean? So my goal was just I just want everybody to have fun at shows, right? Because back in the 90s and the 80s, it wasn't always that way, you know what I mean? So I think I used Built to Last as kind of like a mechanism to make up for my past, and to try to do things right. And, I think I've done that. I think Built to Last did a lot for the hardcore scene, in San Diego. There's always those years where you have Amenity, right? And then they're done, and then you have Unbroken who takes it, right?
Sure.
And then there was us.
Yeah, but there was a slight gap, right? Unbroken breaks up or do they break up in 95? Is it 94 or 95?
Mid 90s, I believe, early to mid 90s.
Was there a gap between Unbroken and Built to Last?
I think there was by at least 3 years. I would think a couple years maybe.
Yeah, I wasn't in Built to Last when I remember being at the last Unbroken show at the Shea. So
Yeah, but the demo could have been out.
The demo was out, and I remember we got our start. We played Soma a lot, and this was before Soma. Everybody realized that Lynn was a shithead and just dirty business guy and stuff like that. So that's where we got our start.
Sure.
I mean, we got to play with AFI there. We played with Sick of It All several times. Fuck, we even played with. Do you remember we played with Papa Roach? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
We played with fucking Papa Roach. I don't even know how we got on that bill, but we headlined. And they were actually really nice guys into hardcore, but that's a funny story. But we got our start at Soma,
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so we started playing like a lot of Soma shows, and I think this was before you.
No,
did you ever play? Did you play any of the Sick of It All shows?
Yeah, I played the Sick of It All show when he was like, "This goes out to the boys with the same name," and it was when their albums.
But you weren't there for Papa Roach.
Yeah, I was, because I remember because nobody paid attention to him, so the singer got naked on stage.
Yeah, the singer got naked on stage, but I remember after they played and then we played, the singer came up to us and was like, "Oh, we love your band, we'd love to go on tour with you," and I was just kind of like brushing it off like, I don't think we're the same type of music, but they were actually nice guys.
2 years later on the MTV or whatever.
Yeah, like 2 years later, I was like, damn, that band kind of blew up a little bit.
Send them an email.
Yeah, hey, can we go on tour with you? Remember us back then?
We're ready for that tour.
Yeah.
So we started off playing like Soma shows.
And are you building up a following off the demo alone?
We are. We kind of a big following. We were starting to attract 100 kids to a show, and then Lynn at the time was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to put you on the main stage."
So you're headlining the little side stage.
Oh yeah.
At 100 kids. That was a cool little room.
Yeah, back then it was a cool room, and we had a diehard fan base and friends. Like alone, there would be 35 friends there.
Sure.
Every Built to Last show, roll out, boom, hang out. Plus the kids that come to see us and stuff like that. And I remember back then, like, there was a lot of young kids coming to shows, like their parents dropping them off.
Yeah.
13, 14-year-olds and stuff. And I just remember talking to those kids because they would come up to us and try to talk to us and stuff. And I just was always so, just like, dude, I'll totally talk to you. I would always explain to them, you guys can do what we're doing, but, if you want to chat with us, sure, have a seat, man. I'm down to talk about anything, or... we would have kids come up to us and, it's awkward, but like, hey, can you sign, the CD? And
Sure.
I would never turn anyone down, but I would always let them know, like, hey, you could be doing the same thing that we're doing,
Agreed.
We're nothing special. We're just up on stage because we've worked at it or whatnot. So,
Yeah, I think you have to do that, right? If a kid wants it.
yeah, you can't be a dick, but a lot of bands are dicks.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think you're making the point and still doing it.
exactly.
I would do the same thing.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
you could make the point and not do it, but
It's funny
it's silly.
when you're 15 years old and you see. I remember when I go to the Unbroken shows, I was like, "Dude, that's Rob from Unbroken." Like, you can't help it. Like, you just put everybody on a pedestal, and then when you get to a point where people are asking you the same thing, you go, "Yeah, I'm really not a big deal." You know?
Yeah, it's like, all right, yeah, we'll sign your thing, or
Yeah,
or,
you feel stupid signing it, but if it makes.
But
your
sometimes
day,
people want something to remember from a show, and
Yeah.
and we don't know the circumstances either, right? So
Right.
maybe they don't have money for a shirt,
Right.
And maybe you don't have buttons at that show,
Right.
I mean, it's important for bands to remember when you go on tour, when you do shows, if you really want to get out there, to try to have stuff to sell of every, like, from low money to higher, right? To try to always have stickers and pins, because
to give away and stuff.
Yeah. Or just buy 2 for $1, just because a lot of people want to have memories from shows, and you don't know what people's circumstances are.
Yeah.
Dude, free stickers.
Yeah.
Go a long way.
Yeah.
So taking it a step further, of talking about, talking with younger kids and stuff like that, we got asked to play a kid's birthday party, and these kids were like 13 and 14. And me, I was pushing for it. I was like, guys, we got to do this. I mean, we couldn't do it, but Dave Kennedy and I showed up to the birthday party. and hung out with the kids, and they were just. It was surreal. It was like they were so happy.
You do a singer-songwriter set, you
right?
Just bring an acoustic guitar, and
there was a couple of like punk bands that played, and they were just so psyched that we were there watching them, and that type of stuff made me feel good. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not like I'm out making a big difference, but
no, it would matter.
You can be a positive role model or influence in someone's life, I'm all for that. You know?
Yeah, I remember being like 17 and doing Voice of Defiance and playing like a show in Oxnard, and Tony Cortez from Ill Repute would show up or something. And it's like, it's a really nice validation.
Oh yeah,
like you're doing something.
Right.
But yeah, so after the demo, you do Loyalty and Betrayal.
Right, with Nothing Left Records.
Okay, and where are they out of here?
Now they were... What is the... God, I lived in Hawaii too long now. It's kind of like between here and halfway to Orange County. I forget the...
San Clemente?
No, it's past that a little bit. Up towards Orange County. I forget the area where the guy lived.
Anaheim?
No, it wasn't Anaheim. We're going to sit here forever. I don't remember it.
Dana Point?
They were from close. It's kind of close to that, I think.
Laguna?
Yeah. Getting closer. That's not the name. But, so, we got hit up, we got hit up by him, and he's like, hey, I want to put up your CD. And I remember, like, we all met at Denny's, and we had to go over, like, a 4-page contract,
Jesus.
Which was, like, really bizarre. I was like, okay, what are we exactly signing? But... yeah, that CD came out. When that CD came out, that's when it really started moving for us. That's when, we kind of knew we had something going. It was just, we had to act on it, and we had the tour, and we, started noticing like, damn, there's 150 kids at this show. Like what, and the shows just from there, it just kept building. And building
is that when you start venturing out and going to NorCal and making those connections?
To Oakland and all those guys up in that area, like Hoods, Rely, Powerhouse, those were our boys. That was our home away from home. Like when we went up there, we had the same type of reaction as in we would in San Diego. People wanted us to play up there, so we started doing those West Coast trips, and that's when I started noticing that, man, this is something special, at the time, I mean.
Well, the CD's wild. It sounds like nothing else.
Right.
I mean, I don't think you could recreate it today if you tried. If
no.
you sat down and were like, I'm going to do Loyalty and Betrayal 2. It's a wild sounding CD.
I know, it's almost kind of silly to me, that CD. When I listen to it, I'm like, it meant a lot, but now I'm just like, man, it's kind of silly though. Like,
I don't think it is.
I don't know,
It's always silly if you think it is.
Well, no, I know. Just kind of, I think I always wanted to have a certain sound, and I was never able to do that because I couldn't write music because I wasn't talented.
Sure, but it's your first stab at it.
Right.
And so it comes from a sincere place.
And I would play songs off of that today. I was just saying, like, it's just kind of just reminds me of, like, man, it's kind of... But everybody liked it. A lot of those songs, there's a couple anthems on there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of songs that we would play at shows, a couple of the songs off of that... people were waiting.
Push.
And you can't...
It's on fire.
Yeah. It's on fire.
Like that song. Special effects.
Yeah, it's on fire. It took me like less than 2 minutes to write that. I'm just going to say this over and over again.
It's a sick idea.
It's
a sick idea. Because like when we brought you guys up to Ojai, that would have been after the self-titled CD came out.
Right.
But, when not everyone knows your stuff... You can just say, this song's called It's on Fire. All I say is It's on Fire. Yeah. It's a bunch of 17-year-olds that want to have fun.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant song.
And it kind of, that song, there's meaning behind it for me. It was kind of just how I felt about the hardcore scene and what I imagined it should be at the time. Bunch of kids together, singing along, having fun, and even though the lyrics don't really say that, that's what, that was.
No, but that's what you freestyled in between.
Right.
When you're playing live.
Right.
So you could adapt it to every different show. So that was cool.
Dude, I was pumped when I first put that CD in, and I was like, these are the songs I got to learn. And when I got to It's on Fire, I was like, oh, I can't wait to play this song. Like,
yeah, it's a pretty iconic bass riff,
Key the right.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, I haven't listened to that record or that CD in, God, 10 years.
I listened to it last week to do my homework for this.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
How soon?
Yeah. So you're getting popularity up in North. Mm-hmm. And do you actually do a bigger tour off that?
No, pretty much just West Coast shows. I think the big tour we did was the U.S. tour. I think that was off of.
That was the main.
That was off the record, the LP, right?
Yeah, because we didn't even
Are you sure that was on
the EP? We just did West Coast. We only did the one.
No, the self-titled EP though.
Yeah, we never did more than a West Coast.
Okay, see, my memory's kind of bad.
I think you did your tour right after the LP came out.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only full U.S. tour we did was off of the LP.
Yeah, and that was 30 days.
Yeah, it's a long one.
But we got on some good shows. We were fortunate enough to play a week with 10 Yard Fight and landed on some pretty big shows. Yeah. Pretty eye-opening, touring for that long. You realize, like, you love your friends, but they can put you through mental hell in a van for 30 days. So
there's great stories from that one.
Let's get to it. Let's go a little more.
I almost sent Don home on the first day of tour.
Yeah, let's talk about.
Okay, well, tell that story so we don't forget.
Dude, like we're like leading up to this tour, and Bert's having full-on conversations with me, like, if Don pisses me off, I'm going to put him on a plane. And so it's like he's already set himself up for this. Like, he's just waiting for the...
But me and Don were friends. It's just we were both grumpy. And when two grumpy guys get together, it's not always like...
They definitely know each other's buttons. And we hadn't even made it to Texas yet. And there's this just big fallout between Don and Burt. He's like, you're going home. Like... And it was like, you knew it was only a matter of time, like, that this happened. And then from there, it pretty much, I don't, that was after that event, there really wasn't a Don and Burt moment. Then it came down to everybody getting in fights with Mertz. And I mean, I even had it, out with Dave one time. And, like, Dave's the hardest person to get in an argument with.
It was probably the best experience I've ever had, though. And I miss it. I miss that stuff, like, dearly,
Yeah, we'll get to it. Let's go a little chronological. So then we do the self-titled CD, and that's when Aaron joins.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best release.
Ressurection, put that out.
Yeah, how did you meet up with them?
Man, I think I just submitted some stuff to him, and he hit us back and was like, yeah, I'll put out your CD. And, he had bands like E-Town on there and Hogan's Heroes. And
he was a New Jersey label?
Yeah, I mean, he was a smaller label, but he was awesome. I mean, he really wanted us to put that out with him, like, really bad.
That was a good label. They put out, like, a good cross-section of things.
Yeah. So we put that record out with them and wrote that, and that's probably one of my favorite recordings as well, even more than And Knowing Is Half the Battle. But so we did that, and just like I said, he sold a good amount of. Back then he was only doing CDs. I know some of the bigger labels were pressing records, but I think a lot of people were sticking to CDs and stuff, and
especially more of, like, the harder style music. It seemed like it'd be an American label would put out the CD, and sometimes, like, a Euro label would put out the vinyl.
Right.
Like, I think I have the E-Town record, and it's on. The CD is on American label, and vinyl from a Euro.
Like
the 25 to Life is kind of like that. Yeah. Time to Shine actually never came out on vinyl. The second one, I don't know, with the Clouds. Second Coming. Yeah, that's the best one, by the way.
Yeah, I wonder which one Ressurection put out.
It had to be Time to Shine.
Time to Shine.
Yeah, I think they might have done the first two. I don't know.
I have to check.
I love that band. Well, I love the first two records, and then it got a little away from what I like.
Right.
But yeah, so do you see? Is the popularity the same after the...
No, so that...
Or are you getting even bigger?
So that's when we started noticing that we were starting to get people from the East Coast that were... At the time, it was like AOL chat rooms and stuff like that. And I was talking to people from the East Coast, and, just the label only pressed 1,000 of those CDs, and they sold 1,000 CDs in like 4 months, so he pressed another one. So back then, if you're a small band from Cali and you sell 1,000 CDs, you're like... How the hell did we do that? But I think the word just started spreading a little bit. There was a little bit of, we were getting a little bit of run. And I think that, that's kind of what led up and got us onto the Victory compilation.
You do a few comps around this time. There was the NorCal compilation. Actually, it was a worldwide compilation, but I think it was done by a NorCal dude that Our Only Way.
Yeah. It was
Our Own Way?
Our Own Way.
Our Own Way. That comp
California
is fucking
hardcore
awesome.
comp. God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that one. And then there was a California hardcore comp.
Right.
The Call to Arms. And then the Victory. And those are all between the EP and the LP.
I'm glad you remember that. Man, I forgot about the other 2 comps we did.
And those are all awesome. And the Our Own Way has Turn Away, the best version of it. That's great.
We must have re-recorded it then.
Well, you re-recorded it for the LP.
Right.
But I think, so that would have been the first version.
Right.
Yeah. Because you didn't put that song on the Only the Strong was a different song.
Yeah, that it was called Fade. It was only for that compilation.
Yeah.
And it's weird, so when we did that comp, we had to sign like an 8-page contract. But after the comp came out, we got an email from, Tony Victory was kind of chatting us up about seeing what our plans were and what we were going to do. Kind of almost like gauging us like, hey, do you want to maybe put some stuff out on Victory? But,
well, he took NIV right around that same time.
Yeah. Dave Kennedy didn't want to mess with Victory at the time. He just didn't want to be on that label.
A lot of people did and weren't happy with him, so who knows?
Yeah, but for that time, I mean, that could have been a good...
It could have been a good move.
But yeah, so...
You would have had vinyl out.
We would have had vinyl out.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, so same thing. You're just killing it here and killing it in NorCal.
Yeah.
And then you decide to do an LP.
Yep.
And who did the LP?
Ressurection.
Again.
Yeah.
So, do you get a bigger budget? Anything?
They gave us like $8,000.
They gave you $8,000 to record?
And so that, first off, I thought was ridiculous.
Because you're going into debt for it though, right? You gotta recoup it and pay it back?
Well, I mean, in theory.
In theory.
Yeah, but he never said, we didn't sign a contract with Ressurection.
So you just get an $8,000 budget, and that's how you go to West Beach.
Yeah, West Beach, but see, so here's my theory
Did you
on
get
that.
Mr. Brett?
Listen, I didn't want to record at West Beach.
Why?
I wanted to record with one of the bigger hardcore producers to give us that sound because, I mean, the guy who recorded us, Don L. Cameron, Pennywise, Bad Religion, that's great.
Yeah.
We don't sound like that.
Right.
And that record ended up sounding like that. It was thin. It had to me, the guitars were really thin and didn't have crunch or anything. So I was kind of...
Well, that record's a little of the times that, it's post-Bane blowing up, and so there's lots of octaves. And that's
very melodic.
That's going to take away some of the meat.
Yeah.
But it's a different sound. It's not that it sounds weak or thin.
Well, and then at this time, Dave wrote 90% of that record. Where the EP was still mostly, I think, Donnie writing.
Yeah.
So just totally different writing styles.
Yeah.
And I like melodic hardcore, and I think at the time we were doing that, it wasn't a popular time for melodic hardcore. That's for sure.
No. I would say that, Bane broke it wide open. Or, Shy Halud's. But these are both bands that are... they also go the heavy way as well.
They did go the heavy way.
And, so you guys would have... Actually, yeah. You guys are kind of unique in that way of, being, a more melodic hardcore band and not being super heavy.
But I mean, hey, recording at West Beach, I love Bad Religion.
Yeah,
you know what I
too.
mean? The first Pennywise 7-inch, I own it. I love it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie it. And so recording there was awesome. The guy, he's a genius at recording. But yeah, we got an $8,000 budget, and I was just like, it blew me away, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I'm going to pay for your recording. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking, couple $1,000. All your budget is $8,000.
I'd go to For the Record and then go on vacation.
Yeah, exactly. We could have recorded in someone's basement and
So West Wind is this small little studio, and then we go up there, and it's like, wow, I could play, game of basketball or something here. The thing is huge.
Yeah, it's crazy how much that stuff has changed though. Because then, if you wanted to try to attempt to have a good recording, you did have to go to a bigger legit studio.
Yeah.
And now there's so many kids that.
Pro Tools.
That have built out their own
Yeah, well, that record was recorded analog.
Yeah.
Tape. I still love analog.
Yeah,
but you're not going to really.
2-inch.
It costs a lot to
on
record on it. Yeah, on analog now. So, but yeah, no, that was a great experience. I think for all of us. I mean, and that's when we really started feeling good.
How long did you take to record it?
3 days, I think.
No, we were there a week.
Was it?
Yeah.
Jesus.
It was.
See, I'm terrible with.
It's a single day getting drum sounds.
Dude, it had to be more than 1 day for drums. It was totally overwhelming.
Yeah.
We
the
did
guy
spend
kept
one full
like,
day
"You're
on
a really
drums.
good drummer," and I'm sorry, stop blowing smoke. Yeah, dude, recording with headphones is the hardest thing for me.
Okay.
So it's
explain.
like every time I had to record and I had to put on headphones, I hated it. Like,
Yeah.
So
Well, why do you need to?
Well, I started just trying to put them around my neck, and because they would play they'd have.
Oh,
guys
yeah.
playing, like, the
You gotta
guitar
listen to
tracks,
the
and then-
the scratch track.
Yeah, and then they sometimes you use the timer and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
the
and-
metronome.
Yeah, so you just can't get around it sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the only way I used to like to be able to record was live, and it didn't happen then. And so when I'm with the headphones and recording, like at the time, I was struggling bad
Dude,
with like.
everybody get out of the room.
Yeah.
Nobody look at
Well,
me.
no, but
Like,
the
we
thing
were
that
not
I-
allowed to be anywhere
Right.
near Burt when it was time for vocals.
But I don't talk about it a lot, but I got really bad anxiety and
Yeah.
like borderline, like real panic attacks recording.
Yeah.
So that's why, if you notice all the albums, my voice is not the same.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
different each.
Yeah, it's just really was weird when I was dealing with anxiety and stuff over all those years. It affected the way I recorded. And yeah, I was like that, get out of the room, and they're all making fun of me. And
That's normal though.
I'm inside struggling,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
sweating. And just, he would play it back and I'd just be like, oh my God, it sounds like shit. Like,
Well, it's so hard singing because
Yeah.
it's like you don't know how your voice is going to sound on that day until you go and lay it down a little bit, and then even then, from when you start singing, your voice is going to change. So you got to kind of lay down a few songs, and then like that's kind of where your voice is going to
Right.
be, and then you got to hope that it holds up. And it's terrifying. I can't imagine doing singing with having like anxiety.
yeah.
And
I mean, it wasn't like anxiety just from recording. I would just have anxiety because I had, I was dealing with that stuff. Like for no reason, just have panic attacks or whatever and stuff.
yeah, but that'll give a normal person a panic attack. Like being in there and trying to get done.
Yeah, you're in that little closet, and it's hot.
Yeah. And
And
it's
everybody's listening, It's the
fun
same
of
way with the
you.
drum. You're just like, if I make one little...
I know. And yeah, drumming is a great example because I've seen it with Matt, and it's like you want to get a little bit better take out of him, but it's like he's getting more tired.
He's tired,
He's getting inside his head, and like we just can't get past this one fill.
Yeah.
And I've talked about it on the pod before. It's drumming back then was totally different than now because now you can punch in anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Oh,
is
yeah.
fucking pathetic. That's so pathetic, dude.
I actually think that I had that capability at that when we
At
did
West
that
Beach?
one. And he's like, "Yeah, I'll just bring you in at this point." I'm like, "Wait, what? I don't have to start all over?"
Oh, that's
where the
insane. Yeah.
previous because I had never recorded until I got with Built to Last, so it was a whole new experience. But I remember at West Wind, just there was one song and I couldn't nail it.
Yeah.
And you get frustrated,
Yeah.
and then you're tired, and it's just and you have everybody looking at you, just like.
Yep.
They're trying to be supportive, but they're irritated.
Yeah.
Like,
just had a hiccup. I think your drumming is probably above average with a lot of hardcore bands. Like honestly, not just because he's my best friend. To me, he's one of the top drummers back in that time. And I just, I don't think he got a lot of credit for it, but he was solid. He was solid every time we played.
That only cost me $5. Get Burt to say that.
Well,
Wasted talent.
you
You know how bad the hardcore scene needs good drummers. So what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
Well, you always kept time.
Everybody always asked.
You would
if
miss
you were
it.
a drummer. You got asked every show if you wanted to do another project because they were just.
Yeah. You would miss a cymbal every once in a while, or drop a
I
stick.
missed 3
but
cymbals at my.
I let that slide. I remember what show was it? Speaking just real quick, you must have dropped your sticks like 6 times.
Oh, every.
It was
show.
just like woo flying out of his
yeah.
hand. I'm looking back going, damn.
But I hit so hard that I would
did.
break sticks so often.
You have the little thing. You can quick draw.
Oh, yeah, it was
right?
just
Oh, he was good though, but he would keep time with just like
Yeah.
one stick in the bass drum or something,
Yeah.
and it was just like.
Yeah, it was constant with me losing sticks and breaking them, and when Burt wasn't looking, throwing them at him and stuff.
Yeah, with keeping time with the one, that's crazy. When In Control, 6 weeks did a CD of ours where we re-recorded the demo on the 7-inch, and when we were done with the entire thing, the guy that engineered for us now, Armo, he's actually really good now. But he deleted one of the snare tracks on one of the songs, and it was like,
Damn.
what are we gonna do? Like, what are we gonna do?
Oh my
and so
God.
Tony had to go in and literally do the snare,
Wow.
which is so hard because you have to like lead in all the fills.
Yep.
So he's going da 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 la la lu thinking do da 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 da. It was crazy.
He
And
pulled it off.
yeah, luckily it was a very straightforward song where he did like very basic fills all the way
just
through.
one song?
Just one song.
Dude, I was having a panic attack.
Oh god, no! You can't do the whole record. The whole
There's
record
no
we would
way.
have to start over.
Yeah.
But one song and it was very basic and it came out like no one ever noticed.
Yeah.
It just sounds a little phlegmy in like one part. It sounds like he's almost doubling it because I mean
It's a great story.
Yeah.
I love hearing stuff like that, just like the horrors
It
of
must drive me
recording.
insane too, because I cannot listen to our recordings because I pick out stuff that I did wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like I can't just listen to the music. I'm just still listening to my drums, going, I could have done that better.
Yeah.
I could have done. What was I thinking?
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah, you can't get too inside your head about that. It's like it's a time and a place. It's like a tattoo, right?
Yeah.
Like almost everything you have, you would change it a little bit or place it a little different or something. But it's like
no Rugrats.
Like seriously,
Yeah.
like
no, we got more misspelled tattoos than that one, right?
recording was always mentally draining for me because I was just so nervous.
Yeah, I think it's mentally draining
God,
for
it was-
everybody.
I was excited about it, but I wasn't excited about the actual recording of it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It just was.
You're like excited when you get there and when you finish.
Yeah.
Like, or when it's time to go get lunch.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
that's about it. But when it's just like you just, or as the drummer, we were always first. So it's like, as soon as you're done, you're just like,
Yeah, you just sit back on the couch.
You know, now you can critique everybody.
Yeah.
Make fun of everyone.
Yeah.
You would always several times you would like push the speaker button and say something smart ass to us or, you know.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, being nervous in the studio is just you care about what you're doing and you hope that it gets laid down right.
For sure.
You know, that's all it is.
Right.
I think that if you're not nervous, that means you don't care about your art.
Yeah.
You know, or you just have next level confidence, which
Right,
you're
right.
probably lying.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, Bert was just like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah. Hey, well, for the second Retaliate record, I did all my vocals in 4 hours. So,
Nice.
what's up?
4 hours.
That was at the peak of my
That was like one
skills.
song for Bert.
Yeah, it would be. Dude. I remember one day I just was like, all right, I'm done for the day. Like I just couldn't. Like when you're recording, I don't know if it happened to you, but your voice cracks, you know, and then your vocals start you're getting tired. Everything's
Yeah.
not sounding good. But
Yeah.
I pulled it off. I think I did vocals in seriously one day, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
I think it was like 8 hours I did them in.
Yeah.
For that album. So
Yeah. So after that, you do your first tour.
yeah.
Do you book it? Does the label book it? Who does it?
So I booked some of it, but I reached out to a booking agent. Her name's Bonnie. Super nice. She booked, I think, 13 of the shows.
Okay.
And those were all this, you know, I think we played with like six shows with 10 Yard Fight. Mm-hmm. Played a show with Strung Out.
Okay.
Which there's a funny story behind that one. But so we played with Strung Out. And, you know, most of the shows were solid.
Yeah.
You know, there was a couple, we didn't know what to expect. There was a couple where it was just like, damn, this is terrible.
Well, you start by you go out Arizona, you go out Vegas,
I
or you
think our
go
first show
north.
was in New Mexico. If I
No,
remember.
Arizona.
Arizona?
Okay.
That was the
bad thing was,
cockroach and hair house.
All right,
Yeah,
well, let's go Cockroach and Hair House. What happened?
Yeah, so we played a show in Arizona, and these two really nice, you know, a girl and a guy was like, hey, you know, because we would always, we'd be like, hey, we're looking for a place to stay, because if we can avoid having to use the record label credit card to get a hotel, we didn't want to spend all of his money, but he gave us a credit card for emergencies.
Yeah, and this was back way before social media, so you couldn't pre-plan this stuff out.
Right,
No,
right.
sure.
So they said, hey, you know, you can stay at our house. And we're like, yeah, cool, you know, and it's the summer. It's
Yeah.
like a fucking 150 degrees outside, right?
Yeah.
So we get to their house. So there's no air conditioning. All right, I can live with that.
They're in Arizona, though, with no air conditioning.
Not that worked.
I slept in
Jesus.
the van.
Well, we both slept in the van. I'll get to that. But I went in to use the bathroom, and I turn on the light, and it's like a house of horrors. There's like cut hair all over the ground.
Well, wasn't
Huge, and I hate cockroaches. I'm talking finger-sized motherfuckers running around.
Wow.
Turned off the light, went there, and I go,
Yeah, I remember. It was like, I'm not sleeping in there.
I'm sleeping in the
And I'm
van.
like, I'm not sleeping there either.
Yeah.
So
Well, why would anyone sleep there?
We wouldn't sleep in the van. I think we even left it on like almost all night with the air conditioner.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was our first show on tour. The show was good.
Yeah.
And you respect people for letting you stay at their house. So I'm not trying to be like, oh, I'm too good for that. But it was gnarly.
Well, if you're sleeping on the floor, you got to draw the line at roaches, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, there's another place that we had to draw the line.
Is that the cat piss house?
Cat piss house.
Yeah, that was gnarly too.
we stayed in one of those in like Western New York, I think it was one time, and it was weird, man. Like the place still like kind of haunts me. We was on because you play the show and then you go to like this kid's crash pad after the show, so you don't really know what the surroundings are, and it felt like we were driving like way too far, and then it was like. It was just him and his dad. They lived on this like abandoned farm. It was like going under because like I don't know, their crops weren't good anymore, and the house is just generally cat pissy and cat hairy and whatever. No big deal. We're gonna sleep there, right? We got sleeping bags, whatever the fuck ever. But to use the restroom was upstairs, and you went upstairs and there was this like weird narrow hallway that was like slightly leaning. And it was like, I didn't know. It was like, it was just like on this slight lean, so it was just creepy.
It led to a murder room, probably.
Probably.
You lucked out.
And
that's straight out of a horror movie.
And then like, like none of us said anything. And then like the next day it was like, hey, did you take a piss last night? Yeah. Like, dude, that fucking house is terrifying, right? Like, yeah, dude. So Arizona, then you make it to Texas? Arizona, New Mexico?
We did play Austin.
I thought New Mexico was definitely on the...
Yeah, no, New Mexico would be next.
Yeah.
So you got a memory from that show?
I don't
have a memory from that show.
I really...
See, the first week, like, a lot of our shows got canceled.
Oh.
So it's like we got to Texas, and then we found that show was going to be at, like, starting at, like, midnight or something.
Oh.
And so we were like, if we play this show, then the next show was in Florida.
Jesus.
So we were like, that's a 2-day drive.
Good job, Burt.
Yeah.
What kind of tour is
I was a rookie then. I never booked a tour. I was doing this shit on AOL chat rooms. Man.
So this was the notorious Don and Burt fight, but then we opted to we bailed on that show because we thought the Florida one was going to be better. And we get all the way to Florida and we find out that the show got canceled. So, like by then, like, we all like rolled on tour with like $100 each. And we thought, where it's going to last us. And by the time we got to Florida, everybody had spent all their money trying to eat and stuff like that. So
but luckily we got to the East Coast and things started looking up a little bit.
Yeah, we literally, we were allowed a $5 a day allowance. And most of us, unless there was food at the show, ate once a day. And I
Taco Bell, to be exact.
I ate Burger King for almost every meal, and I knew it down to. And it was funny because every place I went, it was off by like 5 or 10 cents, depending on the tax.
Yeah.
So I was always like trying to borrow, like because it was like this. I got the same meal every time, and I knew it was $5, and I'm like borrowing like 5 cents from people, 10 cents from people to pay the tax.
Yeah.
But it's still. But when there was like free food, it was like. Game on, like, fighting for it.
It was rough at first, but we ended up getting to the East Coast, and we had a show cancellation, and then we were able to jump on a show with Reach the Sky and 10 Yard Fight.
Where at?
Virginia. I believe it was a Virginia.
No, Virginia was the Strung Out show. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
What state? Man, it's so long.
Dude,
ago.
it's so long ago. I can't.
I might not be able to give exact accounts of what state, but all I remember is like 100 kids. During 10 Yard Fight, picking up change, dude. I was like, wow. Because I'd never seen this shit on the West Coast.
Was it when they were saying straight edge brothers in the pit together, singing straight edge anthems together? We're all friends. If you're not high, no one will go home with a black eye.
God, what album were they? Or they were...
In 99, it's probably the LP. No, Back on Track is 98. It'd either be their LP or they did one EP after that.
Yeah, I just remember, though, there was 100 kids, whatever you want to call it, picking up change,
or
punching or whatever, and I was just like, this is what I want. This is like, I want kids reacting like that to us.
They were so catchy.
Our first big show was definitely when we got to New Jersey and played that indoor skate park place, because that's where the record label was based out of, so... Like, there was all these kids just ready to watch us. So I think that was...
We sold a lot of merch, too. We were like, these kids are here for us?
Yeah, it was
And they
strange.
were. It was crazy.
Who else was on that show? You remember?
Hogan's Heroes.
Okay.
That's the only band I remember from the record label. No other big, like, you know, there was no bigger hardcore.
Was it
bands on
Hogan's
that
Heroes
show.
there, or would have been OS 101?
Oh, it might have been OS.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, because they did like that record on Victory right around that time. Weird band.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we played that show, and then I believe like the next day we drove all the way out to like the most east end of PA, and we played this skate park again. And the whole this show was fully advertised of come see Rob Mertz play in Built to Last. So there's like 500 kids there. I kid you not. We're like, wow, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
They all just wanted to see Rob skate, and Rob didn't want to skate. So when we go and play, we played for the other band on the bill, and then when they played, we watched them.
Yeah.
None of the kids ever came into the show.
Oh,
Just
that's
wanted to see
crazy.
Rob skate.
Just wanted to see
Was that
Rob.
the show where the band before us was like, hey, we do New Direction too. We're going to play that song?
No, that was when we played in Connecticut.
Connecticut,
Yeah,
okay.
that was another skate park we played.
Yeah, we played some skate parks.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that one.
That's hilarious, though.
We played it way better.
Did they know?
They knew.
They knew that you were
Yeah,
playing
they
it,
were
so they
straight
gave
up,
you.
hey, we're going to play this song. And we're like, because that was our go-to song on tour. Because
Just say, fuck it, we'll play it too.
The Gorilla Biscuits were broke up at that point, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they were.
They weren't
Yeah.
playing shows.
They were. Because
So
they
that's
did that
why we-
reunion stuff in like, what, 01 or 02?
Yeah, way later.
That's why we covered that
No, they
song.
did it like right when I moved down here. It was like 2011 or something.
They definitely
Yeah, it
were.
was-
They weren't together when we were
It was way after.
covering
Way
that
after.
song.
Yeah.
And that was our go-to. That was our bread and butter on tour.
Yeah.
You play that song, you're getting action, right?
Yeah. Plus, you play it like Slayer style.
Super fast.
So this band, I don't remember the name. They said, hey, we know you play the Gorilla Biscuits cover, and we're going to play it too. And I was just like, what do you say to that? Like, no. I was like, okay, cool. And they sure as hell did it. And I didn't even recognize the song.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, good. It was terrible. We're still going to play it, Dave. She's like, I don't want to know if we should play this. Fuck yeah, we're still going to play it. So, but yeah, the shows definitely got better on the East Coast.
Of course.
We played a show in Queens with not bigger bands, just like local bands and stuff. That was the show where the guy asked if he could borrow my microphone. Do you remember that?
Why did you bring your own mic?
I brought my own mic on tour.
Oh.
Because I like to use my, I don't want to get sick or whatever, so I figure if I have my own mic. But the story gets
But
better.
everyone's lips are on it when you're passing the mic.
I know, but just, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
No one was really singing along on those shows.
When I did Somali and I was playing guitar, I would use like that clown nose because then you really got to be up on it when you're playing guitar.
Yeah.
And I didn't want my lips on someone else's mic.
Right. I was probably a germaphobe, but this guy's like, hey, can I borrow your mic? The mic's broke. I go, yeah. This guy was deep throating my mic.
Oh, dude.
No, it was like in his mouth when he was
Yeah.
singing it. He was sweating, and I was just like, fuck.
Yeah, you see him like swinging it like this, all chaotic.
He wasn't swinging it. He was just eating my microphone. So I remember after the show, I had to take it apart. I'm like trying to clean it out and stuff. But Queens was that's the only show we played in New York, and it was good.
That was a strange show. That was the first time that I learned that there was like fads in hardcore about like clothing.
Okay.
Like they were like, kids are like all wearing like Nautica and stuff. And I was just like, what's going on here? Like, it's so weird. I felt out of place. Like,
Yeah.
and like people were trying to explain to me now, that's what's in out here. I was like, oh, okay. Like,
Do you
I better go
remember-
get my Nautica gear.
Yeah.
Do you remember where the 10-Yard Fight show started?
No.
Yeah, I'm terrible.
I
I can remember playing
It's like
that.
kind of Midwest over to Seattle, I thought.
Yeah, it was definitely as.
Oh, you played your way back with them.
Yeah, so we went
Yeah.
down, up, and back.
Yeah.
Through kind of the Midwest.
Well, and then there was what's the band that we played like Washington and Seattle, Downshift or something like that.
Oh,
Downshift.
Yeah. I think it was-
Downshift from NorCal.
I think
They
so.
did a
Yeah.
split.
At
They
the
did a
time.
split with Strength by Strength.
I think
Yeah.
it was that. Those guys were super
Yeah.
cool. But we went up and down like the mid states, and I think some like a couple shows got canceled, and
We tried to get on the Saves the
Dude,
Day show.
But almost, I swear we played 10 skate parks, like, and we played this one show. Remember the band? I think it was called like the Hardcore Motherfuckers.
Oh,
There
yeah.
was like this girl.
Yeah,
singer,
dude, she was badass, though.
She's
The name
like-
of the band was the Hardcore
Yeah,
Motherfuckers.
it's
Where was
literally.
that?
I don't remember, but she says she's like. She's like, yeah, I used to be a cheerleader, but then I got introduced to the cheeseburger.
Yeah.
And like the song was like, move this motherfucker. Like, it was fucking hilarious.
She was down for her shit though. And she was super nice too.
She'd
But
kick your ass.
some of the stuff you come across on tour is just
the
like
hardcore
classic.
motherfuckers.
We
It's
did
gotta
play
be
we-
Nebraska or some shit.
Yeah, it was definitely in the middle states.
But getting back
She's
to
a
the
juggalo
East
now.
Coast,
Juggalo.
probably. We played with Strung Out.
That was Virginia.
Yeah, and we almost beat their ass after the show. Do you remember that?
Tell the story.
Bert's always trying to beat somebody up.
No, it wasn't me. It was Dave Kennedy.
Burt hasn't told a single story about beating anyone.
No,
up
it
yet,
was
though.
Dave Kennedy.
Okay, so what happened
we
with
played
Strung
with
Out?
Strung Out. We played at a bar. It was all ages. And Strung Out was taking pop shots at Straight Edge on stage. And we were like, okay, they know we're Straight Edge, you know. And
Well, some of us were. I don't think all of us were straight edge at the time.
everyone was Straight Edge at the
I
time.
can't remember when that happened.
Yeah, Freddie, Dave, you,
Okay.
me, and Rob Mertz. Yeah, we were all Straight Edge. We never said we were a Straight Edge band, but we were all Straight Edge. So they were just talking shit about Straight Edge, and they were directing it towards us. And I just remember Dave Kinney going like, we're gonna fuck those guys. Let's go out and fucking kick their ass or whatever. And we go outside, and they're in their fucking big tour bus, huge tour bus. And I just remember them throwing trash out the window, like pizza boxes and
At you or just being
just outside, just being obnoxious shitheads.
Yeah.
We didn't end up getting in a fight with them, but it came close because they were taking pop shots at it. That was a good show. There was a lot of fucking people there.
Yeah.
So there was a famous skater in the band? I never knew this.
Rob Mertz for a minute.
Oh.
He's pretty big. He skated for Zorlak.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah, I didn't know that. He was one of the guitarists?
Yeah, he played guitar after Donnie left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We brought him in as a second guitarist, and then Freddie switched to bass. Like, if we ever did a reunion show, I would want Rob Mertz to do it.
Yeah, and then Freddie switched off bass to guitar again when you got Scott?
Yes.
Yeah, later on, then Rob didn't play with, and then it was Freddie and Dave on guitar and
Yeah,
Scott
Rob got
on
kicked
bass.
out of the band.
And there was like 10 bass players in between then,
Yeah.
too, so.
Why did you kick Rob out of the band?
I didn't. Dave did. Dave just never liked
They
him.
just never
They never
saw
got along.
eye to eye on music.
Yeah, they...
Every time, and I could see how it was frustrating for Rob, because every time he showed us a song, Dave just kind of put the kibosh on that.
Yeah.
I mean, not even try to work with it, right?
Yeah.
And you know,
But I
whatever,
think
because the
mostly-
stuff that Rob was bringing us sounded like Strife, and we're like, all right, dude, we're not a Strife band, but he was trying, right? He was trying
Yeah.
to write music, and I was like, well, can we do anything to these riffs?
Yeah.
Let's work on it.
Yeah,
And
you
it
can
was
work it
just-
into a breakdown or something, but sometimes when someone just brings a riff in and you know what you want to do with the band is just
Dave,
I'm sorry,
Dave
man.
made it clear he was the songwriter.
yeah.
Which is,
and
one of the songs on the LP I wrote, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I snuck that in. I won't say which one it was, though.
Yeah, which one was it?
I don't remember it, so it was like... That probably went over real well on the microphone.
I think that's Broken Backs. That's an Overrated Body song.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, are you finding that people are connecting with Built to Last, like in different spots out there? Like, do they know your
As
songs?
we got back towards the West Coast, I think more besides like Jersey was like the home away from home. It seemed like.
Did they knew some of the songs?
We had kids singing along, not a whole lot.
Yeah,
I mean, it was our first tour, right?
sure. Well, first and only.
But
Yeah.
well, right, but
on the East Coast at least.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I noticed when I got back, because we were like, we're going again.
Yeah,
I booked like 2 weeks worth of shows in like 3 days.
yeah.
So it was coming.
Yeah, so demand was
it
there.
was coming together.
Yeah.
You know, we were able to get on shows with Ensign, just bigger shows, right?
Yeah.
And it was coming together. And then that's when it just out of nowhere,
Right then.
we're leaving the band. Yeah.
Okay, so you want to tell that story?
Yeah, I mean,
Who got it wrong?
I don't think a lot. I mean, I think people have their theories on why Built to Last broke up, but I don't think they were in the band, and I don't think they know exactly what transpired. So the breakup took me by total surprise.
Okay.
There was never talk of, we're getting tired of the band, maybe we should play a last show, let's break up, whatever. So I started booking this next tour for us on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And then I don't exactly remember when it happened or the phone call, but you know, Dave and Freddie had been working on another band called I Astronaut, which I don't think any of us knew about.
No, I mean I knew about it. So Freddie had met up with this guy who had made this song, and it got played on like whatever that rock station is up in LA, like K-Rock, and like so there was like people interested, and so Freddie somehow got hooked up with them, and then he was playing with them, and then at some point Dave got in on it, if I have my facts right, and every week I was hearing that they were like going to be playing in front of some big producers or something like that. And
do showcases or whatever.
Showcases, because they were just wanted to be
They wanted to do it as a career, and I don't fault them for that.
Yeah.
The way it went down was a little suspect to me and stuff, and I mean it's to this day I don't think I know I joke around with Aaron a lot. I don't have complete closure with that band because we worked hard. We worked hard for 5 years, and then we were there. I felt like, the record was selling good. I think in 6 months we had sold like 3,500 CDs, and it was just rolling. And then that like knife hitting you was just like,
I had a big part in just calling it quits because it got to a point where we were now second fiddle, and I don't remember if we did, but
second fiddle to who? To
that other band.
To their side project, the new project.
This is all that they were talking about in the interest, and I think at some point Burt and I may have had a discussion, like if they were to leave, like we could fill their spots, but I think at that point
get Mertz back and hit those Strife songs.
Dude, I was so over the fact, like, I'm not even the original drummer, so it's like it's literally Burt and nobody else, you know. So
stop there as far as not being the original drummer.
Well,
he may have not been on every recording, but in my eyes, he's an original Built to Last member.
Yeah, but
because he well, no, you're an original member.
I appreciate that.
You're not like, just because I didn't play on the fucking shitty demo. You know what I mean? Like. You're an original member, so I don't believe what that.
But it just...
that doesn't count, Burt. We gotta keep it real. If you didn't play on the first CD, you're not an original member.
But at this point, we've had at least 5 bass players.
Sure.
We've had multiple guitar players, and it was just time. And it's unfortunate because we had only just put out the LP and only toured once on it, and Burt's right, there was hype on it, and we always played a good show, and I was really proud of that record. Burt doesn't like it. He'll say he doesn't like it a lot of times, and I really liked that song. But I like more melodic stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like it. I just know if I repressed it on record, it would be remastered a little bit.
Yeah.
Not to give it like
Burt wants to put it out.
Yeah. Well, no, I do. I want to re-release that, but I want to also do it coincide with one show.
Yeah.
In San Diego at the Shea. I don't think it's going to happen.
I want you to put out the Powerhouse No Regrets so bad. That's like, it wouldn't sell 500 though, huh? Or could it? That record's got to be on vinyl. It's like the best record of the 90s.
Yeah.
Powerhouse
I don't know. I mean,
it's the most ridiculous record there is. Like the drumming on it is so insane. Because he's doing this beat, the cheat beat, but he's doing the like the no effects do that with like the cheap punk beat.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like the illest. Like when we talk about like you couldn't go in and remake Loyalty and Betrayal right now. It's like you can never remake that record. It sounds like nothing else. Yeah. And they're like hanging on the chords for a long time, but it's like hard. Like I don't know. It's an untouchable record.
No, it's a great record. And I mean, if we ever get to a point to where we can put stuff out that we're unsure of, I mean, I would love to release something from Powerhouse. Like those were our good friends back then.
Yeah. No, I know. Powerhouse, Hoods, and Built to Last were my favorite bands at that time, and Ignite. But it was a little different. I knew all you guys, but I never met the Ignite dudes. Anyway,
I never knew you guys drove up to see us and then, during the week and left. That's amazing. I thought that kind of made me feel good.
Yeah, when you talked about that, I was like,
wow.
I think that was
warm and fuzzies.
That happened like twice. I think it was like there was one Empire Club show, and then I think it was you guys played with Good Clean Fun at the Shea.
At the Shea, yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't need to see that.
We played some random shows.
Yeah. I mean, I just hate joke hardcore. I think it's sorry.
Oh, like just kind of making fun of, yeah.
I don't know. It's like, go do a different genre, like for joke stuff, you know? So.
I never could get into that band.
I mean, do you like Crucial Youth?
Not really.
It's like, who cares, you know?
Yeah.
Or like, yeah, Good Clean Fun, same thing. Like, it's just sorry.
Right.
You know? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
People, I mean, it's cool that people want to have fun and enjoy things. So, what happened to iRobot? Or what's the band? I asked for that.
Nothing ever happened. I think they just kept trying, and then I mean, at this point, like we've kind of just have moved on from them. So I don't think that we were, talking about it as much. Like I think people were bummed out that it happened, and then I think roughly at this time is when I started doing Over My Dead Body and just turned all my focus to that.
Yeah, and then how does that make you feel, Bert? Do you feel betrayed that like?
Not from him, no. I mean, it's.
But it is him, and it's.
Well, I don't think
Dave.
the way that some people try to tell the stories, like, oh well, we recruited Aaron to play. It wasn't like that. Like if there was a chance that, like if Freddie would have left, we would have had Built to Last still.
Yeah.
Like if Dave, me, and him were there. But I think the fact that Dave was gone, and no, I never felt betrayed. I think some of the ways some other people tell the stories of how we broke up is they don't know. They weren't in the rooms when we were talking afterwards.
Well, do you feel like you've represented the breakup now?
What do you mean?
Like do you feel like you've set the record straight?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, like I said, I would love. My goal is to try to get Dave Kennedy to play one show with us because people want it. There's a lot of people. I find random stuff. Younger hardcore kids that I don't even know in San Diego posting like old photos of our shirts that they're buying, and yeah. I mean, if I did a press of the and knowing is half the battle, we're probably not going to sell 500, but I think it would do good, and I think playing one show would be. Maybe I'm just being what's the word? It would be closure for me if I could just play one show with Aaron, Dave Kennedy, and a couple of the other guys. It would be awesome. Because it would be great. People would show up and it would be fun. Yeah. And I think that would be true closure.
It would sell if we did, we silk screen the logo right on the record.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's
sell Hunter the show for
he's
sure.
moved on. He's buying a drum set again though, so I'm like, So we're like he's just getting ready for me.
He wants to do Built to Last 3.0 because I don't know if you remember 2.0, but
yeah, we put out the 7-inch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so you break up. And that would have been what year?
2000?
Like 2000, 2001?
Yeah, so it was right at the start of Over My Dead Body. And just to put it out there, like I had never planned on leaving Built to Last to play in Over My Dead Body. I just wanted to play guitar.
Yeah, it's just...
So you would have done both.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I was starting Over My Dead Body and Built to Last hadn't broken up yet.
Yeah, I think they overlapped.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was an overlap.
Yeah.
And I had no intention of leaving Built to Last because I love playing the drums, So it just got to a point where I just was kind of over it. I didn't want to be second fiddle. And I could see that Dave just didn't have much interest in it anymore.
Yeah.
Like he wanted to make it big in music. Like that's what he wanted to do. And that's awesome.
Now he's touring with Angels and Airwaves again.
So
I get it, But
my biggest
Wait, Dave or Freddie?
Dave.
But Freddie never got to do anything.
No. I actually just saw Freddie at the GB, and that was like the first time I think I've seen him since the last Built to Last show. So it was weird, and it was just kind of like, hey, Freddie. I was like, but hey, he's working and stuff. And I'm bummed that those friendships aren't there anymore. Like, I don't have zero contact with Dave. I made an attempt, like I got his number, and I sent him a couple text messages, like group texts and stuff, and he didn't reply. So it's like, I'll only try so much to stay in contact.
Well, you got to do like a San Diego hardcore barbecue once a year or something.
Yeah. Right.
And you invite everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, there should be something to like, you should be at least acquaintances. You have so much history together.
No,
Seriously,
but I think everybody is still, though. I mean, we were at Heartwork. I saw Don, Rob, Audie, Moran, like all those guys, and I get it, but Dave he disappeared. He's not around. He doesn't contact us. He doesn't call us. And I don't get that.
I'm going to call him soon enough because I got to get him on the pod.
Like, he might say the same thing that, Aaron and Burt never made an attempt to, but like I ran into him like when Sam and Chrissy got married and they had the reception at there, and then I talked with Dave and it was awesome. And
I could have sworn he was at your reunion show, no?
He showed up.
He
But it
was
wasn't
there?
really a reunion show.
It was Built to Last 2.0.
No, then he was at the Over My Body reunion show.
No, he played in Over My Dead Body.
But did he play at that show? No, he didn't play. He didn't play at your reunion show.
No, when we...
He was just there. That's the last time I saw him.
No, he showed up to the Built to Last one, too.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was just me and Aaron and some kids who grew up listening to us.
Yeah, so that gets back together in 2007?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you recruit?
Tommy, kid named Tommy. He grew up going to Built to Last shows. Brandon.
Well, those were all kids that you played in Safe Inside with, right?
Yeah, but that was after Built to Last. But yeah, but they were all they went to Built to Last shows. That's how I knew them.
I thought that was after the... Okay.
So we just kind of got together and we're like, dude, let's play some old songs, write a new 7-inch, and just, have fun.
Yeah.
It was nothing serious,
Were you on that, Aaron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that show we played, the first time we played back at the Shea was insane.
That was super rad.
God, I was like, wow.
Yeah. Do you think if you would have just done that one show, you would have felt like a little more closure than you have now?
If it was with Dave Kennedy.
Yeah, I got you.
It needs to be with Dave. I want it to be with Dave, but
Yeah.
for some reason, I don't know why he doesn't have interest in it. I don't know if it's just like, it's, in the past, or he's embarrassed of what we did, or what it is, because he's never talked to me. Me, Aaron, and Don went to his place, James Coffee. We kind of threw it at him. He's like, yeah, but it's just never materialized,
It's hard to find the time.
I would like it to. Yeah.
It's hard to find the time. I mean,
Dude, I got 5 kids, man. Believe me, I know about time.
Yeah, and I haven't played drums since 2009, so it's going to take a while.
I mean, I get it. It would be a little bit of work, right?
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be too hard.
yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
How do you feel about that final Built to Last 7-inch?
It was good. I mean,
It was different. I really liked the songs.
I think it was different, but it was also in the vein of kind of reminded me maybe where it could have went. I liked all the songs. I mean,
Yeah, I just they just had a totally different writing style than Dave, So
Yeah.
but I liked the songs.
Yeah. I thought it was cool.
I won't listen to them because I hate listening to my recordings, but I liked them at the time.
Yeah.
that was really short lived though. So
How many shows do you think you played?
handful, maybe 7 or 8.
That's kind of a
I think we
lot.
played with Half Hard.
That's like 4 years of Retaliate.
Yeah, mate. Oh, really?
Like
Yeah,
twice
you
a
guys-
year.
Every once in a while. So
That's how it's still so
we
fun.
tried to, when we got back together, there was some bigger bands in San Diego, and we would try to be like, hey, can we get on the show? And it was just kind of like that type of stuff.
Well, who?
So, I don't want to talk about. I don't want to. It's a sore subject with me because I feel like I kind of did a lot for a lot of other smaller bands that were out there, but then when we got back, it was like pulling teeth to try to get on bigger shows or whatever, and that's when I was just kind of over it. I was like, you know what, man, let's not do this anymore. So, but
Well, Built to Last can play with Retaliate anytime.
dude, you guys
Don't
would
worry
be on
about
the
it.
reunion show and In Control.
right.
That would have to be. That would have to
In Control. No. It's too much work.
Yeah.
It's too much work. Like when we did our first reunion, we practiced for 3 months. So we just want to represent ourselves really well. And it's too much of a hassle. And
I think that's how he feels.
Ryan works
too,
like 2 jobs. It's like too hard to do.
Too hard, yeah.
Yeah, and I live here and he's up there, so it's 4 hours apart.
Yeah.
So people ask me all the time just for like little things like, hey, Roper Brewery, you guys want to play? Like, hey, I'm doing this show. Want to play? It's like, you know how much effort goes in? I mean,
It would be. I mean, I would have to fly in from San Diego at least for a weekend, and I'd
from Hawaii to San Diego.
and I'd have to get in shape
Yeah.
for I'd have to start working out for 3 months so I don't have a heart attack on stage.
Maybe he could get Don to be his trainer.
Yeah, let's circle that. Aaron, what is the year of Don's peak buffness?
Well, Don was never buff.
He was in shape.
He was in shape. I'll give him that.
He was more swole at some point
I
than
don't
he is
even
now.
know that I wouldn't, use that word with Don. Like, and I know he's.
Well,
riled
you
up
were
by
a
me saying this,
but you were a beast. So like you don't see it like that, probably, right? Like anyone slightly inferior to you, like looks like a fucking.
Yeah, I mean, when you're hanging out with punk and hardcore kids, like if you have any kind of muscle, you're like the big guy.
Yeah.
You get a lot of you're a jock, but then when a fight starts, who do they look to?
Yeah, they're happy to have you around.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't remember who told me.
I love you, Don.
I can't remember. Tell me if this story is true or not. Someone told me once there was like some sort of brawl. I think it was at the Glass House. There were some Nazis, and there was like some super big scary guy, and I heard he was like gonna fight like either you or Dave, and like you and Dave were arguing over who got to fight like the biggest gnarliest one.
Oh, Dave loved him, dude. Dave was a badass.
But like in the middle of the brawl, like here's this one like untouched guy, and you and Dave are arguing over who gets to fight the gnarly one. And then like the guy was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Dave, I really never got a choice. Like Dave was always the first. I mean, obviously from the Shea fight, there was a fight in Reading that Dave's. You know, we didn't start the fights, but Dave was the first to make contact.
Yeah. Well, I picked up the folding chair and went Hulk Hogan on one guy, though. I did some shit.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, you got Burt spraying mace at everybody and throwing chairs.
You got Ben. You got Ben good.
That was Ben's fault.
Well, Dave's got the longest arm in the world, so it's a good first punch.
Dude, I felt safe in this band. I was like, all right, we can handle pretty much anyone. Like we got a good chance
in the San Diego hardcore.
Yeah,
we're in Built to Last. You know, like. Yeah. But it's funny when you guys were all talking about that story because I was right at the front of the stage and that guy's right in front of me. And what Shay's stage is 8 inches, maybe 10 inches.
It's like 2 steps, right? Or is it just 1 step?
It's just one. It's a pretty thing, but that guy was still eye to eye with me.
Yeah,
and he was right in front of me, and then the go-go gadget arm comes flying across my face and just connects to that guy's face, and I just see the guy's eyes just get wide. Like, did I just get punched?
Yeah,
and then it was chaos.
Yeah. Did you listen to the full Daniel episode?
Yeah.
Do you feel like he went through over my dead body well? That you don't need to jump in on any of that stuff?
He messed it up a little bit how we started, and it's funny because he was the one that did the interview on that Indecision. DVD
like the DVD
that came out, and basically how Over My Dead Body started was, you know, Scott and I were playing in Built to Last, and I really wanted to play guitar in a band. You know, it's like when you're playing the drums, you're second fiddle. You know, nobody ever notices you. You're the sweatiest guy in the band all the time. Nobody helps you.
You got the most equipment.
Burt was like the only singer to ever help me, you know, bring my drums up on stage and stuff. But you're a one-man show back there, you know. So I wanted to play guitar, and so I had been talking to Scott about playing guitar, and we were at the PCH talking about it, and we wanted to do something maybe a little bit more melodic at the time with, you know, a different style, vocal style. And so I think I hit up Daniel or something at the show and was like, hey, can you sing? And that's when he says it in that DVD. He's like, no, I can't sing. You know, so, but I'm down to do an edge band. I think that's exactly what he said. Yeah. And so from there, it was just like, you know, I had already written a bunch of songs, and then he had asked Rob, so it's like, you know, what we did the first time is I played drums just to kind of put the songs together, and then I think it was Rob that knew Tommy, you know, and so from there it's pretty much accurate what he said, but I think it's just the start. He's taking a little bit of the credit, but
well, he's a front man. You got to have a little bit of ego, right?
Yeah, I mean,
if you're a front man without a little bit of ego, you're gonna be.
No, I mean, I've been fortunate to be with 2 of the best frontmen, I think, in hardcore. You know, like I feel like I got to play with I think Tommy is the best drummer in hardcore that I've ever. Dude, that guy's amazing.
He was so good.
He's so good, dude. He's so good. I miss that guy. Like, I'm so bummed that he lives all the way up in Oregon.
He's doing Moonkisser.
Yeah, Moonkisser.
Right? And that's rad. Yeah. They're really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss that guy a lot. Come back, Tommy.
Yeah, come. Okay, so Jesus Christ, why did you guys choose a band name that's so hard to say? Dude, I swear I'm not that bad at talking, but every single time,
OMDB.
I gotta take a second stab at it.
I don't know how Daniel came up with it. I'm about 99% sure Daniel was the one that brought it to the table, and I was like, I love that name.
Yeah.
So
it's just hard to say, dude.
Yeah.
You know, but okay, so Over My Body breaks up, and let's go back to Burt. So when did you move to Hawaii?
Probably about 9 years ago.
Yeah.
He moved out there first.
Yeah, so I moved out in 2009, and I took a job out at a company because I had just got my engineering degree, and that was like right around 2008 when like everything took a shit.
Yeah.
I couldn't find a job to be an engineer. The company I was working for at the time, they got super slow, so I was like just doing random stuff. And so I found a company out in Hawaii, and I went out there, and then I said, hey, Burt, you want to come work for me?
Yeah.
And he flew out. He lived with me 3 months, brought the family out. Then I bailed on him 2 years later.
Yeah.
You were there for a year and then you left a year later.
Yeah, because I was there about a year and 5-6 months.
He's like, just come back. I'm like, dude, I got a bunch of kids and stuff. Like,
Well,
I can't
you
just
were-
move back. It's not that
Yeah.
easy.
I set him up with a really good job,
Yeah,
too.
no.
So, like, it was hard for
I've been
him to
doing
leave.
good because of him.
Yeah. What do you do?
So I was brought out and I was an structural inspector for 8 years, but now I work with a general contractor as a superintendent.
Cool.
So just, running construction jobs and stuff. So
Yeah. Feel
pays
that.
the bills.
Feel
It's not
that.
the most exciting thing, but
Yeah.
I'm able to do good and be able to do a record label and stuff. So
But he's got 5 kids, so, he's got to have a good job.
Are they all with you?
oh yeah.
What's the spread?
19. I got a 19-year-old boy. The only kid that's into hardcore.
So far.
No, none of them else will be. No. So my 19-year-old, he got to go to like Built to Last shows, Gorilla Biscuits, and so he grew up listening to that. So I got a 19-year-old boy, I got a 16-year-old boy, 12-year-old girl, 7-year-old boy, and a 6-month-old boy.
Jesus Christ, Bert.
I know. That's it though.
Going for it.
We're done.
You get snipped?
I've always wanted a big family.
You snip?
I'm not.
You're not gonna?
My wife got fixed.
That's rude. It's harder
this
it's harder for the women.
It is, but our last son that was born, it was an emergency C-section.
Uh-huh.
So
they do it at the same time?
Well, they asked her, and when they asked her, I told her, I was like, I'll do it. And she's like, I don't believe you. She's like, I'm just going to get it done. So,
Bert wants 10 kids. Like,
Yeah.
I will.
so, no, I got a good spread, and it's been great for me. I mean, they're great.
Yeah.
I mean,
And they're loving Hawaii?
they love Hawaii.
Do any of them surf?
They do. Yeah, my daughter surfs, and my older boy, 19-year-old surfs. So,
How's your pigeon?
Hey, brah.
brah, I don't speak pigeon, brah. No,
That was terrible.
I understand it.
Do you understand it?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, being out there for 10 years, all the construction workers, they got thick accents and stuff.
Yeah, so you gotta pick it up.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know all the words.
Cool. Well, let's start talking about the record label. And this is an episode I haven't done all my homework for. So now you guys are together and you decided to do Safe Inside Records. What was the impetus of that?
Aaron, why don't you speak on that?
Well, I remember at one point, Bert let me know that he wanted to do a record label and stuff. He had been talking about it, and then he started doing it. And I was like, wow, that would be really cool. Because, I mean, I'm like a lot of people. I'm older. I got a couple companies that I'm running. And no excuses, but it's hard to be involved. I don't play in bands anymore. And I was like, hey, this is a chance to kind of still be involved in the hardcore, which has given me so much. I mean, half my life I've been playing music in hardcore. So that was I reached out to him. I'm just like, hey, Bert, you down? I don't want to just jump in on your gig, but I'd be down to like do this with you. And he instantly opened his arms, was like, hell yeah, and was announcing it on Facebook before I,
So had you already done a record, Bert?
I did one record.
Which was what?
What was the first one? Nerve Control, Remain in Vain split.
Okay.
That was the first one.
Split 7-inch.
Split
SIR
7
number
inch.
one.
Yeah, SIR number one. Just trying to get bands to. I like Nerve Control, and I know the kids from Remain in Vain. So, when you first start a label, you just can't get like, oh, this band wants to do it. So you have to start somewhere. So I just hit up Hector from Nerve Control and Marcus from Remain in Vain. I was like, hey, I'm starting a label. Do you guys want to put out a split 7-inch? And they were both on board, yeah. And I remember at the time of pre-orders, I think we sold like 4 records. Mm-hmm. And at the time, it like didn't matter to me because the reason I started the label was, number one, I'm in Hawaii. I have no friends. All my friends are here. I don't have that connection anymore with, we'd talk, me and Aaron would talk, but there's no connection. I don't have my guys there.
Yeah.
So I started the record label to stay connected with hardcore. Even though I'm raising my kids, working, I'm not one of those type of guys where like, hardcore was when I was, this age and now I'm, doing this. It's a big part of my life. It always has been. It always will be. It's not like, all of a sudden when I'm 70, I'm going to start listening to like Lawrence Welk. I'm going to listen to fucking Scratch the Surface, think of it all, right?
Sure.
Hardcore is a part of my life. Is cheesy that may sound, it was important for me to stay connected and be a part of it. Because that's what I attribute, to what kind of made me the man I am, the influences within the hardcore scene, friends and stuff. And it was important for me to try to give back or help smaller bands or, stuff like that. And that's when I started. I was just like, hey, I'm going to start a fucking record label.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm just going to do what I can. And it's getting crazy.
Yeah, so Aaron comes in after the first 7-inch, and had you already lined a bunch of stuff up, or did you guys get to discuss what you wanted to do?
I think you had already been working with Bonebreaker, because
that
was SIR number 2.
Yeah, I picked up a band from Mexico who was fucking awesome.
Bonebreaker. From what state?
They're Tijuana.
Oh, Tijuana.
Yeah. So I had that set up, but beyond that, it's like I said, when you first start a label, it's not easy to attract bands. They're like, who are you? And you can give them your background. I'm an old guy that's been involved with hardcore forever. That doesn't matter. It's like, what can you help us with? What can I do for the band? Or So it was
you're in Hawaii, so it's hard for you to just like go and meet these people too.
Right. So I was doing everything from my computer, looking up bands, staying connected. Even though I'm in Hawaii, I'm connected with new hardcore.
Yeah, you still got the
I know
internet.
I know what's going on.
They got the internet in Hawaii? What?
But I got friends also all over the country, and I'm like, hey, what bands have you been, seeing that's, really good, or have you heard any good demos?
Yeah, well, I heard you on the podcast. I apologize for not
Ill Street News.
The Ill Street News, and I thought it was interesting the part where you were saying you were emailing some people and they just don't even bother.
They don't even respond.
That's so rude.
Everyone, I look at it that way.
Everyone has a minute.
Why can't you just say no?
Or why can't you just say I'm not.
Hey,
I don't have time to
appreciate
figure this out right now. Or thanks so much for contacting us.
Flattered.
We're not in the time to figure this out right now. Can you circle back in a few months, or what's your number? Like, let me reach out later. Something. It's so weird to just.
And that's still. I mean, even where we're at now, that still happens. And then you see, like 2 months later, like this band is putting out a record on Triple B or one of the bigger labels. So you get it, right? But it's just like. Just answer me. Be like, hey, man, I appreciate it. Because
that's the best response you could get.
Right.
Other than like, hell yeah, I want to be on your label. It's like, oh, we're with Triple B or some label. It's like, that's the easiest response they can send. And then that's the easiest response for you to understand.
Right. So, I mean, we get a fair amount of demo submissions. Some week, in a week, maybe it's 2. Some weeks it's 5.
And are people submitting demos now digitally?
Yeah,
or they're saying like, here,
they'll
this is my
send me some
Bandcamp.
stuff that they're working on, or like the rough mixes, or they'll send me their Bandcamp.
Yeah,
I respond to everyone.
Yeah,
I can't put out every band. I may not like every demo I get.
But are you getting CDRs in the mail, or everything's digital?
No, digital, dude.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. I don't know how.
No. I'm just saying, believe me. At first, it was like, no, it's all digital. Digital is, I don't get CDs in the mail, records, nothing. It's like, here's our new stuff.
Yeah.
And it's in WAV files and they send it to you. So.
Yeah.
But I make a point of responding to everyone. Even if it's a letdown, like saying, hey, we appreciate it. It's just, we got this lined up this year and we don't have spots. It's, you can never say like, nah, I don't like your demo, right? So, but I respond to everybody and, at least let them know I heard it and good luck.
Well, we used to tell people we'd play with, I can't remember if I told this story on the pod. I'm sorry if I did. Bands, when we used to tour, like they would hit us up and be like, hey, can we get on Indecision, this and that. And like, you're playing with these terrible fucking bands in the middle of the country. It's like, nah, man, like they're full, but we got there's this hot new label coming up, Roadside Records, like we'll submit your CDR to them. We drive off from the show and just chuck it out the window.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's...
You're signed.
Dude, I've gotten some awesome demos with videos and I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing because it's so crazy and insane and terrible. But I mean, I try to respect everyone, It's like I feel flattered that people send me their demos and stuff.
I think that's noble.
Dude, we were all there. We all have been in a band where you're like, what were we thinking?
Yeah. Well, I remember my band when I was like 16, against all odds, I just played in this punk band. I mean, I sent my demo to fucking Fat Records. Why wouldn't I?
Right.
Exactly.
You know? Like,
Did you ever hear back from him?
Fuck no.
No, it
mean,
never got past the fucking mailroom.
Yeah, it didn't get past the mailroom, boy. He's like, fuck this shit. I'm not.
Yeah. I mean, they had to have gotten a ton because I remember I interned at Hopeless Records in like 97 or 98, and they would just get boxes of demos.
Oh yeah,
You know, it was
we're not
insane.
there, but we get a decent amount of, and I'll send him the good stuff. I kind of filter it out. I'm like, I mean, this is not that good, but yeah, I mean, in the beginning we were putting out records and we were just losing money. But at that time, to me, it was like, dude, I'm doing this for a hobby. And then Aaron's on the side going, dude, we need to be smart, you know. And I'm just like, I'm gonna go pick up this band and money, whatever.
Burt wants to put out everybody.
No, not anymore.
But a hobby, you shouldn't lose your ass either, right?
No,
Right,
I mean,
we
nobody's
learned that.
getting into this thinking they're going to make money. I mean,
Yeah.
if anybody's thinking
Yeah.
we're making money out there, just know we're in a bit of debt. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But
we're in
we
debt.
love it.
No, but you should
know?
you should strive to break even.
Yeah,
Break
that's
e-
the
well,
goal.
hey,
Break even.
Break
We
even,
both
make
got
money
jobs.
to put out other records.
Yeah.
It's not like I know I'm not going to retire and quit my job to run a record label.
Yeah.
So.
But do you have a talk with? Let's say you get a release from a band. You think it sounds pretty good. Mm-hmm. What's the next step? Like, do you talk to them? Like, how active do you plan to be? Are you going to tour?
Touring is a big
We
deal.
definitely have a lessons learned. You know, like Burt has a lot more things that he discusses with them because obviously, if we're going to put out a record and you're just a band that's not going to tour it. Hey, we might love your music, but it doesn't.
If
we
you're
don't love it
upfront
enough
being
where
like,
there's
we have
400 records sitting on our shelf. Like, we want people to hear it, but the only way they're going to hear it is if you guys get out there and.
Yeah, well, you have to believe in yourself, right?
Exactly.
They need to believe in themselves, and they need to like take it out there.
Yeah.
I remember when we got an Indecision, I showed Mandel like I had that tattoo. You know, it's like it's tattooed on my back, dude. We're not breaking up. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know if that fucking mattered or not, but it's like we're gonna go for this. And basically, you know, I told him I saved up enough money right now that if you don't want to put out the record, that's totally cool. We're gonna put it out ourselves. But if you put out the record, I have enough money saved up right now to buy a van, and we're gonna go on tour. You know? So, I mean, that's the right way to do it, I think.
No, you have to tour.
Yeah.
I mean, I get people have jobs and, some of the bands have, that are on our label have a couple members might have a kid or something like that, but I'm not looking for touring 6 months out of the year. If you can do a week on the West Coast, a band Dying For It on our label that's been with us for a while. They just flew out to the East Coast for 8 shows.
Yeah.
That's all I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But we do have bands on our label low end. They're like road warriors. They're constantly on tour. But I know every band can't be like that. But a lot of it has to do with those, what are your plans for touring? Can you tour? I've been approached by like bands that have older guys of ex-members of bands that I'm like, I would,
Yeah.
what are your plans? Well, we all have kids and we can't tour. And it's like, yeah, I mean,
We'd love to
if
do
you're
it,
not
but-
playing out of your own state every once in a while, or
Yeah.
we can't invest in that now because now we've invested so much into this label and it still is a hobby, but now it's a business. Now it's a second job for us. Like we have to manage money and pick bands and make sure that like, hey, can this band potentially, I look at them and go, I think they can sell 300 records. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's tough. There's no formula for picking a good band. It's tough.
Yeah.
And I'm still feeling my way through all that.
Yeah.
I'm a rookie running a record.
Yeah, we're definitely learning as we go.
What's the current turnaround time at pressing plants?
Man, the ones I go through is I get a test press within 10 to 14 days. And then production after that is about a month to a month and a half.
Wow.
So 2.5 months.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
I don't go directly through a pressing plant though,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
some labels do. I have a broker
Yeah.
that goes through a big pressing plant in the Czech Republic.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I go through a broker called A to Z, and turnaround time for an LP is like 2 months.
That's
It's
great.
insane, yeah.
Yeah.
Flexis, like 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Have you done that yet?
I'm getting ready to put out some Flexi 7 inches for some recent bands that we picked up that we haven't announced yet.
For like promotion?
Well,
Or you'll sell them?
so the deal is, so for a flexi, you can do 250 flexis, for $450. That's with shipping, right? So I would keep some and put on our Death Wish web store. I give some to the band. Whatever we don't sell, so the flexis are going to be like a prelude to maybe their LP.
Yeah.
So whatever we don't sell, exactly, promotional material.
Yeah.
I can start sending these out to record stores and, distributors and stuff like that. So we want to sell some, but it's also promotional marketing material. And it's cheaper than just putting out a 7-inch for an unproven band.
Yeah, sure.
Because you can like a band, but they're not proven, right?
Yeah. Do you have any flexis in your collection?
I don't.
I have a single one.
I do not.
I have a Funeral Oration flexi that is kind of like what you said. It was like a precursor to their first LP on Hopeless.
Yeah.
But they're hard to store. I got to put it in the poly bag of a different 7-inch Funeral Oration.
Yeah, I mean they don't have the life expectancy as a regular 7-inch, but when you're producing a 7-inch and you can only sell them for between max right now is $7.
Okay.
There's no, you don't make money on 7-inches.
Yeah.
You just can't. You can't make money on a 7-inch. You want to break even.
Sure.
LP's different.
Yeah. Well, I think people got to come to the reality that if they want the 7-inch format to exist, it's got to get a little more expensive, and they would be
at $7 for a long time.
yeah, it's been a shame.
Yeah.
It would be a shame to see it go away, but you can't expect
at some
labels to
point,
lose
it's
money.
like you can't do it just for fun.
No, it's got to be it's got to be a $10 7-inch now.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm leaning towards. So we have a band called Time and Pressure on our label, and I put out their demo on a tape, and then I said, hey, let's do something else. All right, well, we're gonna write another EP, 7-inch. I'm like, you know what? Instead of a 7-inch, why don't you write your new songs? Will be A side, and we're gonna put your demo on the B side of an LP.
Yeah.
Just because you can do an LP and you have a way better margin of markup, right? And it does come down to money. It's like, all right, I need to make my money back.
Yeah.
And if I can make any more, that's going to go towards the next release, right?
Yeah.
It's like a survival thing,
Yeah, well, I fucking hate 7-inches now anyway. I just don't want to get up and flip as much. I want to put on a record. I prefer a one-sided 12-inch.
I'm doing one of those. We're doing that with a band called Bystander,
which
has Greg Binnick from Trial and guitars from who is that? Greg Binnick of Trial
and juggling fame.
Yeah. He actually juggled for he stayed with me, and he actually juggled for all my kids for like an hour. It was insane. He stayed with me in Hawaii. So
he's that good?
Oh, dude, he's amazing.
Oh, dude,
to go for an hour and entertain.
Well, not all at once, but so he would like juggle something, and my 7-year-old would be like, "Here, juggle these apples," and he would juggle apples, and he'd go juggle our shoes, and he's juggling shoes and stuff like that.
Yeah, but he'll like get on, do the balancing thing, and like
his bike.
He's like legit. Like
yeah. Well, he had a show, didn't he? Like
he's doing.
Well,
it was like
he does a spoken word stuff.
It was a spoken word / juggling thing.
Yeah,
that's fucking.
Because
rad.
even like when Built to Last was on tour, we played a show where he was one of the participants of the show,
and he did his thing at the hardcore show.
Yeah, he did a spoken word. And he did some juggling and stuff.
That's so rad. That trial show at the Empire Club was sick.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good. It was like right after the LP came out, and they did like play the intro through like the PA.
Yeah.
You know, it's so cool.
Yeah, that's who we ended up playing a lot with in up north. The East Coast was Trial. Mm-hmm. Yeah, played a few shows with.
But yeah, so I mean, that release, we're like getting back to it. We're doing a one-sided LP for Bystander.
Yeah.
And we're screen printing the B side. You can do cool stuff. You can't sell it for like an LP price, but you sell it for more than the 7-inch.
Right.
So that's where I'm leaning towards. I'm like, hey, why don't we do a one-sided?
Yeah. What do you save? You save like buying stampers, and you save mastering one side.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty much just the stampers. So
yeah. What's that? $400?
For two sides, it's about $350.
Okay.
Yeah. So you save a little. I mean, you save a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, but vinyl's just
it's expensive.
Vinyl's just expensive, but
well, I know. I buy the marked up version. I'm the purchaser.
But Bystander has Greg from Trial and Charles, guitar player, used to play in a band called Spirits.
Cool.
And they're a really good band. They're kind of like doing, I don't want to call it old guy hardcore, but they're taking it back to just like fast, good hardcore. I don't even want to call it youth crew. It's just...
Yeah, have they done a release before?
Yeah, with us. We put out their 7-inch.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we got that coming out. We got a lot of stuff coming out. I mean, it's really taken off. It's a great feeling that it's starting to feel like, God, at some point we're going to break even or we're going to have money in the bank. And, you know...
Well, now the bands are reaching out to us, and that's cool. You know, like...
Yeah, you don't have to spend as much time digging for bands. They're coming to you.
Well, I mean, the biggest help was working with Scott Vogel. I mean, he let us put out the Despair discography. That was a 2x LP. That was a double LP.
Yeah.
And then I hit him up. I'm like, dude, let's do Slugfest. He's like, yeah. So Scott Vogel's kind of helped the label. I mean, it's really like, he was just like straight up about, and he's like one of the nicest guys. Like, I don't want to get off subject, but he's such a cool guy. He really does give a shit about hardcore. He's
I've
the
known him for a long
epitome,
time.
of hardcore. And him just letting an unknown label put that stuff out
But
was
he knows,
key to our success.
He knows you, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're acquaintances. I don't...
When would you have met?
When Built to Last was around playing like Orange County shows and stuff. And then, just from terror shows and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what kind of helped us propel a little bit. And then after that, it just started getting...
And he'll send bands our way.
Yeah.
Gets a little easier.
Well, he would be a great curator, right? Because he's on tour all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Seeing the cream of the crop.
Seeing all the up and coming.
Yeah. Yeah, so tell me more. What else you want to talk about the label, Burt, before we wrap it up?
We got a ton of releases coming out. We got the Bystander release, the one-sided LP. We got the Time and Pressure LP coming out. We have a lot of releases coming out in 2020. We picked up some bands in Canada, some, like newer hardcore band, newer type of hardcore, because I'm trying to stay connected with younger kids and bands. And I like all kinds of hardcore. I'm not picky. I like anything from Youth Crew to Agnostic Front to Converge. I'm pretty easy. So I'm picking up a whole bunch of different types of hardcore bands. Some of them are heavier and slower, some of them are faster, but I picked up some bands in Canada, believe it or not. We're trying to run Canada, be the kings of hardcore up there, but...
All right.
So we picked up a band called Stepping Stone. They're tour machines. They've been playing some of the bigger festivals, and picked up another band from the East Coast side of Canada called Cold Shoulder, and we just got a lot of good shit going on. I mean, the label's starting to really pick up. So, I mean,
cool.
That's about all I got.
All right. Well, tell me the Reading story.
Oh,
you take that.
Let's wrap.
I just talked for.
Let's wrap this up with two good stories.
So we're in Reading, and
this is Built to Last.
This is a Built to Last.
It's all skaters and like straight edge kids.
Yeah, and you could see that there was a group there that they're probably not into hardcore. It was just this place
older
was
guys.
This was a weird place. So this place had like an arm wrestling table, and so there was some guys there, with rocking cowboy hats and stuff like that. And you could tell they weren't interested in what was going on, other just to be there. So I guess at some point they were causing trouble with some local kids that were like skater kids that were there to see us and stuff. And so there was some stuff going on when we were playing, and it never really got out of hand. And then I remember afterwards we were loading up, and I took a load out to the van, and our buddy that was on tour with us, Ben Nahum, he came out with me, and I was like, hey, just stay out here so I didn't have to close up the van. And I walked back inside, and I overhear this guy go like, oh, fuck straight edge. And I was like, hey, Dave, this guy said fuck straight edge.
And they've been fucking with the skater kids
yeah,
too,
and so there was a guy there that was like bigger than Dave, like taller than Dave, and he was kind of sitting down, and it wasn't him, but Dave walks right up to that guy and he's like, you got fucking beef? And the guy's just like looking at him. I'm like, no, Dave, this guy. And he just turns around and starts pushing the guy, and then this guy, other guy was like in my face, but he was trying to act like he was like the peacekeeper, and so he's like grabbing onto me, so I couldn't do anything, and it was just like chaos, and that was a good one.
Fight broke out.
Yeah.
I started swinging fold-up chairs.
And cowboys.
They left.
They left after that.
And all the skater kids were like coming up to us like, thank you. And stuff.
Yeah.
We were always like the defenders of the scene or something like that. Like
Even out of town.
out of town, dude. Totally.
Yeah, the heroes of hardcore.
Yeah, the heroes of hardcore.
Yeah.
I have to hear it from Ben all the time because he's like, "You guys left me out there."
Yeah, because Ben was like, I missed the melee and stuff. We're like, dude, it was
Yeah.
that and the Shea one, and then there was the Empire Club.
Well, the Empire Club is the one that led up to this.
It's the pre-Shea one.
That was
Yeah.
the pre-Shea.
It's been told twice now.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so we don't want to get
I was the
into
one
it.
that got sucker punched at the
Yeah.
Empire Club.
I think Don tells that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I did call the guy a pipsqueak, you know. I was like, "What are you gonna do, pipsqueak?" And I see him kind of go around me, and I turn and get hit.
That's an underrated cap on someone. You know? You gotta
Yeah, he was
bring
like
that
jumping
back.
in the background, and I was just like laughing. I'm like,
He's
"What
like
are you
dancing
gonna
around, shadow boxing. I was like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's kind of old timey.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Soul guys with old timey.
He's like, come on, let's
Yeah, and he's
find
going
it.
that way. Yeah.
So
You got another one in your back pocket, Bert? You want to in on a good story?
I don't think we have much more for
do?"
that.
There's
type
all
of stuff.
kinds of fighting stories.
Really?
Like-
What other ones?
Oh man, there's one at the Empire Club I remember, not Empire Club, it was at Soma, and I think it was like a Force Live show and us, and I can't remember who the main headliner was, but there was like these guys that showed up, and they were obviously like just bro guys, they had no idea what hardcore is. They showed up just to go in the pit, and they started causing trouble, and at some point, like, you know, they turned on us, and I like hit one of them like in the face, and it kind of like broke out. One of them had brass knuckles, and that was the guy that I hit because he was about to hit somebody else. And then the bouncer, that was back when they had the big old bouncer dudes. They come in, they tackle these guys, and they start taking these guys out of the club. And I'm like one of the first ones following, and like I turn around, and it looked like when you kick like an anthill, where all the ants are trying to get out at the same time. There's like every single hardcore. It's just, you feel bad for these guys because they didn't realize that all 300 of us are all friends.
They walked into a hornet's nest.
They feel like they're rolling deep with like 5-10 dudes.
And they are at most spots.
Yeah.
You walk into a bar with 5 bruisers.
Yeah.
You can own the place. You know?
And that was the thing that like they didn't talk. I mean, I don't know if recently they talked about, but at the end of that fight at the Shea, I remember like after it kind of died down the first time, I walked over to see what was going on with not the guy that had the Nazi tattoo on him, but the other guy, and he like stood up, and I went over because the amps were still buzzing. So he stood up, and like he's got this giant hematoma on his face, and he's just like swaying. The guy looked like, I mean, I don't know how he was still breathing.
Yeah.
Mercy.
And he's like, I'm right in his face, and he's like, "It's so fucked up, all you guys against us." And I was like, "Fuck you! This is what you guys do. Like, you guys go around doing this shit. And you just got your ass whooped." And I just reached over his head and I turned off the amp. And then that's when part 2 started, where the guy's like, "What's up?"
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and
it was like,
he
oh,
gets choked out, and we kicked him out the back door into the mud.
I know, that was crazy. It was like you rose from the dead. Huh?
Yeah, just like hands.
oh, here
he
we
had
go
this
again.
10-foot like wingspan.
Yeah.
Like,
That was scary. My wife was like 7 months pregnant too, man. And I
Was she there?
She was there. That's why I
geez.
wasn't like
Yeah.
I got some good kicks in and to a couple of the guys' grills and stuff. But other than that, I was looking to make sure my wife was okay. But
spray that.
Dawn flipped the tables
and
over.
spraying
So
Ben.
that was all Ben's fault.
Dude, I remember
People act like I was doing
Dude.
this, like just spraying aimlessly in the air. I was about 3 feet from the guy's face.
But yeah,
right here.
everybody who
and then
left,
Ben,
eyes were watering.
no,
You
and
know, I
then
was,
Ben
putting
like
my
slides
drums-
under and like looks straight at me almost and is like punching the guy. I'm like, dude, no wonder you got friendly fire.
I remember picking up my drums, and it was just all over my drums, and my eyes were burning. And I had no idea that Mace got sprayed, and they're like, "Oh, that was Burt. He's just spraying it
They were
like
big
it was
guys,
like
dude.
he just took
Yeah.
a
I
shit."
I was just trying to help the cause, but
Yeah.
That was a good time, man.
Yeah, that pepper spray. That was clear out a room.
Inside a room that there's like 300 kids in.
Yeah.
I thought I had it on the squirt thing, but I think it was more the
I didn't
mist.
even know Burt had pepper spray on him.
Well, I had it because I knew that shit was coming down the pipe at that show. So yeah,
That one will always be
It's legendary.
Fun. Yeah, it's legendary.
Well, and it led to the first hit of Over My Dead Body. God damn it! Again,
Messed it
you
up.
know.
Well, it
was-
sucks because I remember like we were gonna play the Misfits show, and then like we decided not to because people
it was at
did.
Cane's.
Yeah.
We're like,
Yeah,
And that's where that
I was like, I'll put a baseball bat up next to the stage and be like, I'm up here if you
Yeah.
need me. You know, like.
Yeah.
So we backed out of the Misfit show because
Yeah.
PB,
Misfits
it's
are
like,
kings.
dude, there could have those guys have those Nazis had friends down there
Yeah.
that probably weren't even racist, but they
Yeah.
were just like friends with them. And
Yeah.
you have all the PB guys. I'm just like, we might want to.
Yeah, we couldn't expect.
Let's step back from that one.
Average.
Plus, it was
120
I think it was 18 and over, and I didn't want to play that show because of the. I'm a fan of just playing all ages shows and stuff. So
Shout out PB Pub.
yeah, PB
That was my spot, dude. I had a good run there.
Pacific Beach.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for doing it.
Yeah, no, it's fun,
anything
man.
else you guys want to touch on? You feel like you've been well represented.
Don, you were pretty buff, dude.
So Don clarified he was buffer in 2000 than he was in 98. So I was off by 2
I
years.
just thought he was in shape. Like buff is like Dave Kennedy. Like
See, I don't remember Dave Kennedy being buff. I just remember him being
There
like,
was a time where David and I were constantly in competition about who could get bigger.
yeah.
But he'd always complain, my muscles are long, so I can't get
Well, yeah. I mean, like how he doesn't have a frame that would like lend
Total
itself
cock.
to being
talk.
to being like super muscular.
yeah, I was always skinny, so I didn't.
Not anymore.
It's all relative, right? It's all relative at this table.
Not anymore.
Old age, man. It's catching up.
Old age, it is.
Well, all right, guys. Thank
Hey,
you.
thanks, man.
Yeah, for sure.